In this video, I'll share with you the quickest way to become a professional
web designer.
Hello, I'm your host Casino from casino.com. I'm the digital alchemist, and in this video, I'm going to share with you the quickest way to become a professional web designer. Now, please keep this in mind while you watch this video. This is not just about how to become a web designer, it's about how to become a web designer fast. Because of course, you could just go through the search engines, the videos, the free videos, and try to get some bits and pieces of information here and there. And eventually, after a few months, years, and I hope not a decade, then you can become a web designer. But that's not really what we're talking about here. I want to share with you the tricks that I would use today. And they're not really tricks, they're just common sense. But the thing is, I see many tutorials, I see many pieces of content that say you can become a web designer in 10 minutes, and that does not happen. But the good news is that I truly believe that you can get a junior position in something like 3 months. For the best ones, they manage to get it like in 1 month, but you can definitely make that in like 3 months. Now, it's not going to be free, but it can be really, really cheap. Now, of course, I will give you some options from the cheapest to something a bit more expensive. But even with the cheapest version, I believe that you can really become a web designer way quicker than if you just go the route of, oh, I just want free content stuff and I'm going to learn everything like that. I'm not saying it's bad. I love free stuff. I create free content. But what I'm saying is, once again, if you bear in mind that you want to learn how to become a web designer, but the fast way, this is how you do it. Tip number 1, get solid foundations. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, like I just mentioned, if you just start learning by following a tutorial here and another tutorial there, you may skip and miss some really crucial piece of content. So for example, I have a friend, he knows how to create websites, but I had never seen what he created. And I mean, he had his clients, so things were like looking fine. And then one day, eventually I saw his portfolio and I noticed that he had no clue on how to use typography. He had no clue about color science, all that kind of stuff. And that's going to work with clients that don't know better. But for pricier projects and bigger companies, they expect you to know that kind of stuff. So it's really important to know it. Now, many roads lead to Rome, and there are many great platforms. And of course, I could not try all of them. So I'm just going to recommend one that I actually used when I was getting started. And you know why I recommend only one? Like I said, I haven't used the other ones, but also when I was getting started, I was looking for advice, and it did not really help me when people gave me like 15 options, because I still didn't know which one to pick. So I'm going to recommend one to you, and I hope it's going to help you. So one platform I recommend is called Treehouse, as you can see here. Now, I'm sure there are many other great platforms, but Treehouse is something I actually tried, and I like it because it's really good when you're a beginner, even when you're intermediary, and sometimes when you're advanced. But for beginners, it's great, and it's really going to help you because you're not going to have to go and look for bits and pieces here and there. Also, like they have their own coding tool built in, so it saves you from the never-ending back and forth. Now, I know it's about web design and you don't want to start coding and all of that, but like I often say, you need the basics, and the basics are HTML and CSS. Even if you're going to use a CMS like WordPress and you're going to use a page builder and a theme builder, if you know HTML and CSS, you're going to have an advantage over your competition that does not. Okay, so let's take a look. So on Treehouse, you can get courses or you can get a tech degree. Now, there's a difference in how it works and the pricing also. Now, when I started, there was no tech degree with Treehouse, and that did not prevent me from actually becoming a web designer, having a career, being employed, and then starting my own freelancing gig. So the courses, let's take a look. So the courses, they have like 300 plus courses, 278 workshops, 23 topics, and currently they have 50K students. So if you're not sure where to start, they have a quiz. And basically you get on-demand expert-led video courses, you get in-demand topics, segment your learning with tracks, and you get interactive learning. Like I said, the courses have quizzes and code challenges, and they have their own tool built in, so that works really great. They also have Treehouse tracks. So here you can see the popular tracks. They've recently added tracks. Now, courses are $29 per month, and they compare with free code camp certifications, which is free, but you don't get video instruction, you don't get the guided learning tracks. Basically, a learning track is gonna help you build the skills in a logical order. So like I said, instead of trying to learn something and then something else and then something else, you're just going to learn in the best logical way. Next, they compare it to Codecademy Pro, and Codecademy Pro is like $49 per month, so $20 extra, and you don't get the video instruction and visualizations according to that table. Now, I haven't tried Codecademy Pro, to be honest, so it wouldn't be fair to review it, but I can just talk about what I know, and I really enjoyed the course with Treehouse. It really built a foundation for me a little bit faster than the other ways that were available at the time. Okay, so now let's take a look at the tech degree. So the tech degree, it's a bootcamp style program that prepares you for a high-paying career in tech, designed for all levels, including true beginners, but it goes more in depth. So basically you get more courses, you're gonna do more tracks, and also in a logical order. If you know you want to be a UI designer, the tracks are going to be set also in a logical order. So you get guided learning path and weekly office hours, learn professional, technical, and soft skills. You get live chat support and community via Slack. Okay, tech degree, a low-cost education option, no college debt, and no pay us back later. Now, it really depends on where you live on the planet, because even though in the US and UK, studies are really, really expensive, there are many other countries where it's actually quite cheap to study. But still, given what you get out of this course and degrees, I mean, it's really, really cheap. But to be honest, you don't need to do the tech degree. You can totally just follow the course for 29 bucks per month. And we'll see in a moment that some tracks are, you can achieve it like in a month or so. So you're just going to pay something like 29 bucks, achieve one course in a month, and then you can get started with the junior position, or you can start freelancing, even if you have little experience. But for 29 bucks, come on. So let's take a look. So here, let's take a look at some of the tech degree programs. And as you can see, all programs are $199 per month. And I know that for some people, that's going to be way too much. So like I said, don't panic. You can totally go with just the $29 per month course, and you can achieve a lot. So don't worry about that. But if you're someone that has the budget and you need someone to actually hold your hand a little bit more, then the tech degree is really great. So let's take a look at front-end web development, 3 to 9 months. Why 3 to 9 months? Because it depends on how much time you can actually devote to it. So if you can do it in 3 months, it's going to cost you $597, if my math is correct, and you get to get a career. So, I mean, in my opinion, it's really great. And actually, I wish there was a tech degree when I was getting started with all of this. But still, like I said, I managed to do it without going through that. But I would have liked to actually be in a regular course where I knew it's going to take me 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and then get interaction with other fellow students and that kind of stuff. And I'm talking about online. I'm not talking about going to a physical class. But still, I think it's a great opportunity if you have the money for that. So full stack JavaScript. Now we're talking specifically about web design in this video. So I'll focus on maybe front-end web development and UX design. And even front-end web development is, for some people, it's not really web design, but the lines are a little bit blurred. And if you really want to get a job or you want to start a business, you need to stop thinking, oh, I'm just a web designer, I just design stuff, I don't code. Oh, I'm just a web developer, I don't design stuff. You need to know a little bit of everything. I'm not saying you should become a jack of all trades, but at least if you know how things work, then you can get more projects. You can get hired easier than someone that's just a mono skill. So that being said, let's take a look. So they compare it with Udacity, Nano Degree, General Assembly, Immersive. I haven't tried those, so I'm not going to compare it. But basically, they say that their advantages are it's self-paced, video instruction based. You get a support community, you get job-ready skills, you get a certificate, a graduation certificate, which is the difference between this and the courses for 29 bucks. For 29 bucks, you get some kind of badges of completion, and what you can do is send that page to your potential employers or clients if they want to be reassured about your skills, but you don't get a graduation certificate. Whereas with a tech degree, you get an actual certificate. And as you can see, the price is cheaper compared to Udacity, which is double, and General Assembly Immersive, which is 15,000 bucks. You can take the free trial, this 14 days trial, if you want to know how to become a web designer fast for quite a cheap amount, especially if you take just the course route and not the tech degree, then honestly, it doesn't get better than that. Now, I talked about the tracks. Here is web design. So that's the web design track. So if I click on explore, it says it's 43 hours. In this track, you learn how to design and build beautiful websites by learning the basic principles of design like branding, color theory, and typography, which are all instrumental in the design process of a website. You'll also learn HTML and CSS, which are the common code languages that all modern websites are built on. These are useful skills, blah, blah, blah. But the blah, blah, blah is actually true. It's a solid foundation. Now, they say an entry-level salary for the technologies covered in this track is about $42K a year on average. Some companies that use these technologies regularly include Google, Facebook, and so on. Now, this really depends. In some countries, it's going to be 10K per year. In some other countries, it's going to be 100K per year. It depends where you live and what's the market. But all in all, you can get a pretty decent and even great career working as a web designer. Now, it gets better if you specialize, like UI, UX, and so on. But like I said, don't be mono-skill. Have several skills. You see which one you're better at, and the more experience you get, the more money you get. That's how it works in the world. I did not make the rules. So basically in the course, you get an introduction to HTML and CSS. You get HTML basics, the web design process, CSS basics, so that's 7 hours, CSS selectors, HTML forms, HTML tables, typography, CSS layouts basics, responsive layouts, Flexbox, Bootstrap 4 basics, prototyping in the browser, CSS transitions and transforms, SVG, Sass, and CSS grid layout. So as you can see, there's quite a lot, but it's only 43 hours. Now, it may sound like a lot, but at the same time, technically, you could do this in just a week, although I do not recommend that because your head is going to be so packed with information, and that timing, 43 hours, doesn't actually cover the time you're going to spend actually making stuff. So it's going to be much more than that. Now, honestly, if you do this full time, I believe that you can cover this track in 1 month, and you can know HTML, CSS, build the basic responsive website. And then once you've done that, then you can move on to learning WordPress. And for WordPress, once you know all of that, it's going to be a walk around the park. And then you can move on to YouTube, where you get specific tutorials to learn about the tools that you're going to use in your ecosystem. But that is if you want to learn WordPress, because maybe you want to go with coding by hand, maybe you want to go with Bootstrap, maybe you want to go with Webflow. I don't know, sky is the limit. And that's precisely my next point. Tip number 2, choose an ecosystem. So what do I mean by that? Well, when you first learn, so you get your foundations, you know how to create a simple website, but then it's better to not reinvent the wheel each and every time, unless you really want to code by hand and do everything by hand. Maybe that's your thing, and some people are actually great at that. So if it's your case, even with that, you would need an ecosystem. You would need a set of tools that you can use and reuse that make your life easier, even if you don't use a content management system. Now, this is a video where I recommend stuff that I would do to make you go faster on your path. So I'm going to recommend a specific ecosystem. And I think it's quite important to choose a set of tools that play well together, and you're going to learn it once. So you're going to have that learning curve, but then it's going to get way easier because each and every time you start a new project, you already know your tools. It's just like, I don't know, a Formula One pilot knows his car, knows how to drive it. So that doesn't have to learn everything all over again. It's not a new car. You get the idea. Now, let me stress this. It doesn't really matter which ecosystem you choose as long as you choose one that you actually enjoy, and you need to have experience with it. So it's hard to know when you don't know. So basically, you should try as many tools as possible for a limited time frame, of course. Try to create the same project with different tools. Many of these tools get free plans, free trials, and sometimes even a freemium model where they have one version that's completely free. So I definitely encourage you to do that. But then you should settle on once. And since it's the video where I recommend some tools, here they come. So the first tool I recommend in my recommended ecosystem is WordPress. And we're talking about WordPress from WordPress.org and not WordPress.com. So if you don't know, WordPress.com is like the commercial version of WordPress, but you can actually use WordPress for free. I'm talking about the core. Of course, you will need to pay for your domain name and your hosting, but it's not just the fact that I don't want to pay for WordPress.com. It's just, it's much more flexible to use the WordPress.org version. Now, I suppose most of you know already the difference, but I had to make it clear. So WordPress, like I said, you can get the core for free, and the way to install it is really, really easy, but that's the tool I would use. I know there is Webflow, there is Wix, Weebly, Squarespace, all of that. And some of these are great, not all of them, but some of these are also great. So it's more a matter of trying stuff. So what I would do, I mean, this is free, you can try it. You need a domain and a hosting anyway, so, and it's quite cheap. So if I were you, I would try WordPress, and I would take free trials or free plans on the freemium based business models services, and I would actually try those services on the same project. So I would try to build a one-page website or a two-pages website, the same website on each platform. Try to see which one is more intuitive and which one you prefer. But my recommended one is really WordPress, because sky is really the limit with WordPress in my opinion. The next tool I recommend is Elementor. So Elementor is a page builder. So as you can see here, you can just drag and drop element and build pages visually. There are many page builders. It's more a matter of personal taste. I settled on Elementor at the time of recording this video, and it's a really solid tool in my arsenal. Actually, it's like the cornerstone in my arsenal. No pun intended, because I think there's a page builder called Cornerstone also. It's really easy. It was built by professionals, and that's something really key, because some people, they would just build a tool because they just want to get some money, but they're not professionals. They don't actually have all the issues that professionals face. And if you aim to become a professional, then you might as well work with a tool that was built for by professionals, because they wanted to solve a problem. And to my knowledge, this is how Elementor started, because I was told that initially they were a regular agency, and they had this built-in tool that they use, that they created themselves, so that they did not have to reinvent the wheel each and every time they created a new website for a new client. And eventually they decided to make a commercial version out of it. Well, initially it was a free version for like a year. I think it was free. And then they released the pro version. And the pro version is a must-have in my opinion. But if money's tight, you can totally start for free. Just the free version of Elementor, you can create beautiful, beautiful websites. Now, if you want to take it to the next level, then I would go with the pro version, because with the pro version, you get the theme builder. You get many, many things, but the theme builder is one of these. So this is what you get also with the pro version. So what is the theme builder? Well, with the page builder, you're just going to build the pages, right? But with the theme builder, you can create custom headers and footers, because usually that's handled by the WordPress theme that you use. And we'll talk about the theme in a moment. I should have started by that, but honestly, Elementor is such a key element in my ecosystem that I had to talk about it. You also get to edit the single post. So for example, you get a blog. Well, you can change the design of all the blog posts by just changing one template. You can do that with the post archives, WooCommerce, search page, 404 page. And I mean, it's hard to remember when how I used to work before theme builders were around. Now there are many theme builders, and like I said, I settled on Elementor at the time of recording this video. Always be curious. Always look at what the competition does, because it's good for us. Competition is good, but you don't want to switch with each new project. Switch the theme builder, because it's going to be a learning curve each and every time. So I'm quite happy with what I get with Elementor. As you can see, it's got integrations also with Toolset, WooCommerce, ACF, Metabox, and Pods. Now, it may sound like I'm speaking Chinese if you're just a beginner, but trust me, all those tools, you will need those. You will need those later down the road. It helps you to create dynamic websites, e-commerce websites, and so on. Another thing I love with Elementor Pro is the pop-ups. The Elementor pop-ups you can actually use to create navigations, and I have a lot of videos on the channel covering that. And let me make this clear. I'm not talking about creating annoying pop-ups that everybody hates. I'm talking about creating navigation. I'm talking about creating useful pop-ups, coupons, WooCommerce cards, and so on. And like I said, if you ever need to create a WooCommerce website a little bit later in your career, and if you're going to do this with WooCommerce, the theme builder of Elementor Pro comes with the WooCommerce builder. So basically, you can completely customize the WooCommerce experience with the same tool that you're going to use to build your pages and the rest of your theme. Now, bear in mind that before we had theme builders around, you had to code everything by hand. You had to create your own WordPress theme, or you had to purchase one. So most people would just purchase one on a website like ThemeForest or Template Monster and the like. But now you can actually create your own custom theme with the power of Elementor Pro. Now, as mentioned, Elementor Pro is not free, but you get a free version if you just want Elementor. And like I said, you can create stunning websites with just the free version. Now, when it comes to the professional version, it's $49 per year for one website, $99 for 3 websites, and $199 for 1,000 websites. So no need to tell you that for me, this is the best plan. So $199 for 1,000 websites. And honestly, if you think that's a lot of money, and I totally understand maybe where you live or maybe in your situation, it's a lot of money, but I've covered that in a few videos on my website where I show you and I give you techniques on how to create your first website. Actually created a free course you can find here on the channel on how to create a one-page professional website. Try to aim for that. And with just a one-page professional website, you can sell it and it's going to totally pay for the license. So then your license gets paid for free and you get an additional 999 websites that you can get a license for. So definitely check the videos on the website. And actually, if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, because when I release new tutorials, new courses, and new tricks to help you on your path, then you get it. At least you get notified. So make sure you smash the notification bell for that. Now, if you're interested in getting Elementor Pro, you'll find an affiliate link in the description below. It's an affiliate link, so it means that I do get a commission if you purchase after clicking on one of my links. But if you know my channel, you know what I'm about to say. One, I absolutely love Elementor Pro and I use it every day, and that's why I'm recommending that tool to you. And two, commissions actually support the channel and they help me to keep on creating free content just for you. Next, you need a WordPress theme. So like I mentioned, the theme is going to take care of some other parts of the website. Now you may be wondering, do you still need a theme when you have tools like Elementor Pro? Well, yes and no. It's true that you could do pretty much everything with Elementor Pro, but there are some areas that I prefer to use a theme for. And one of my favorite themes is Astra. Now you get the free version of Astra, and just like I mentioned for Elementor and Elementor Pro, you can totally build beautiful website with the free version of Astra. It even comes with predefined designs and templates, and I think it's great. Next, it's really lightweight and it works really well with all the theme builders and especially with Elementor. So even if you don't want to get the pro version, at least get the free version because it's going to work flawlessly with Elementor. Now, if you want a premium WordPress theme, I would recommend that you get the pro version. So what do you get with the pro version? You get features like the nav menu, white label, blog layout, site layouts. Now, to be honest, what I use that theme for sometimes is the nav menu, the WooCommerce styles, the predefined styles. I kind of like it, and also some of the tools and options that come with the styles, and I can actually mix and match it with Elementor Pro. I also love the fact that you get page headers, so I can create completely customized page headers. And you might say, yeah, you can do that with Elementor Pro. Yes, but sometimes it's much better to do it here, and especially when you're using things like transparent navigation that start transparent and move to not being transparent, and then you need to have 5 or 4 different color schemes, then it's much easier to do it here. You could technically do it with Elementor Pro, but it's going to take much more work. I've actually covered it in a couple of tutorials, but it's okay if it's just a couple of headers, but if you have many headers, then it gets more complicated. You get also typography option, color option. You can the scroll to top link, so one less plugin that you need to add. And something I actually like, and they don't really talk about it here too much, is the fact that you can actually inject some code in various parts of the theme, but it's really built in, so it makes it really easy. And for some websites, it was way easier. I didn't have to add another plugin. And I remember there's one website that I should have added 3 or 4 more plugins, and actually I could do it all within the Astra Pro. But that alone wouldn't be enough for me. What really makes a difference is the fact that you can actually buy bundles and you don't just get Astra Pro. So let's take a look at the agency bundle. You get all Astra Pro features. You get 55 agency starter templates. So it's predefined designs. And even though I do create all my designs from scratch, well, sometimes it can be really handy, and depending on what you want to do, especially if you're just starting out and you're looking for that junior position, you want to create your portfolio and you want to start with something fresh or maybe just for inspiration, I think it's great. You also get one-to-one support, which can be handy when you're getting started. You get extensive video training on their platform. You get unlimited website usage, but that's for the agency bundle. But, and that's what I wanted to come to, you get ultimate add-ons for Elementor. Also for Beaver Builder, which is another theme builder. But if you're going to go with the Elementor, then the ultimate add-ons is a tool, a suite of widgets, extra widgets that you get for Elementor. And this is one of the best, in my opinion. It's really stable. And I really like some of the features they added, like you can easily create a mega menu with that add-on. You also get the Convert Pro plugin, you get the Schema Pro plugin, you get access to Skilljet Academy and to all their future plugins. So I think that's a great bundle, but then you have the mini agency bundle, or you can just get Astra Pro. So you have different pricing and you also get lifetime deals. Now, I know this one seems to be quite expensive. You might say $700 for a WordPress theme, and you might start laughing. But the truth is, as a professional, $6.99 to get unlimited websites and 4 or 5 professional add-ons, and you won't ever have to pay a dime as long as they're in business. Honestly, with just one website, with half a website, and sometimes with a third of a website, you're going to pay that and never have to worry again about paying a license. And also you're going to get some great add-ons. Now, if you're interested, I actually created a video where I cover why I love the Astra Pro theme. But in a nutshell, they recently celebrated 1 million active installs. So I think that's for a reason. And as usual, if you're interested, you find my affiliate link in the description below. And last but not least, the last tool of choice in my arsenal is CrocoBlock. So basically CrocoBlock, they brand themselves as the ultimate toolkit for building websites with Elementor. And basically it's a set of premium plugins for Elementor. So you get Jet Appointment, Style Manager, Jet Booking, Jet Blocks, Jet Tricks, Jet Reviews, Jet Tabs, Jet Menu, Jet Builder, Jet Smart Filters, Jet Pop-Up, Product Gallery, Compare and Wishlist, Jet Search, Jet Blog, Jet Engine, Jet Elements. A ton of widgets, and it's really granular, so you can really activate and deactivate what you don't need, so your install is not going to get bloated. And I kind of like that they did that move. Now, Jet Engine alone is worth the pricing. Jet Engine, if you only get Jet Engine, it's 26 bucks. So this is really a steal in my opinion, because you can create totally dynamic websites with WordPress and Elementor. Now, if you're just getting started, you might be scared about dynamic websites, but trust me, this is so much fun. And if you take the course with Team Treehouse, you can take another track where you learn how to build dynamic websites. But I understand that it might be scary when you're first getting started, but trust me, later down the road, you may be interested, very much interested in building dynamic websites. It's more challenging, it's more fun, and usually it's also more money, and you get also better jobs. So you might want to go this route a little bit later down the road. So it's great that you can have a tool like Jet Engine that's going to help you to build that without actually coding, for a really tiny price. Now, I still encourage you, if you want to use a tool like that, to actually create a simple web app, but really in the simplest form. And you can find many tutorials. And like I said, you can find the tracks on Team Treehouse, where you just understand how relationship databases work and how that interacts with a web page and a language like PHP. You don't need to know the ins and outs, but just know the basic, just understand how it works. And then it's going to be way easier to use a tool like that. You don't have to, because they have a lot of videos, and you can also check a channel like WP Tuts from my good friend Paul C. And it's got great tutorials that actually you should pay for, but they're free here on YouTube. He offers it for free, and just with those tutorials, you can learn how to use Jet Engine. But like I said, if you spend one day or a couple of days knowing a little bit more about how it works behind the scene, that's going to help you tremendously. So like I said, that plugin alone, in my opinion, is worth the price of CrocoBlock. For example, you can create a hotel website, hotel booking website. You can create car dealership websites. You can create bookstore website. You can create pretty much anything you want with your own database. So that's really a steal. Now, if you take some of the other plans, you can get more than one plugin. So for 80 bucks per year, you get the e-commerce plan, and you get, well, you need to go and check that page, because you get some of these plugins here. Now, if you want the ultimate package, unlimited lifetime, is going to be 750 bucks. And just like I mentioned for the Astra Pro, it might sound like a lot of money, but this is what you get: unlimited licenses forever. You won't ever have to pay. So let's say you sell one hotel website for 3K. I mean, that's like a fourth of it. That's literally a fourth of what you would get for that kind of website. Now, granted that you get 3K for that website, but if you create a website for a hotel where it's a more complex website, you're not going to sell that for 500 bucks, right? So even if you only sold it for 1,000 bucks, it would cover the all-inclusive lifetime license. So honestly, I encourage you, if you want to be serious about becoming a web designer, especially a freelance web designer, then you should get this before it gets higher. And I used to say that when it was 250, and people thought, no, it's never going to go up. So just a little tip. But now, if you're just getting started and you might be scared to spend all that money, you don't have to. And if you ever need to try Jet Engine, you can just spend 26 bucks once, and that's it. So, but I'm just trying to show you tips for later down the line. But basically, that's my ecosystem. And just like for Elementor Pro and Astra Pro, you'll find my affiliate link in the description below. And my tip number 3, which is my killer tip, and it's probably the one that's gonna help you the most to reach that professional level. I'm just gonna call it observe and replicate. So basically, this tip is like practice like there's no tomorrow. You're gonna have to practice, but with the observe and replicate technique, which I'm going to demonstrate. But before you can observe and replicate, you actually need a source of inspiration. Now, there are many sources of inspiration, but today I'm going to share 4 with you that I believe are going to help you, and I'm going to explain my technique to take your skills to the next level. Okay, that's going to be an easy one because most of these websites, they actually look alike, but some are better than others. So in no particular order, the first one I'm going to talk about is web design inspiration. When you land on the website, you can see each and every day they have new web designs. And what I encourage you to do is that observe and replicate technique. So just open the tabs. Maybe you can do that once per day. Maybe you can go once per week. Open the design and write down in a note why you like that design. Just keywords. Could be minimal, clean, typography, fresh, colorful, whatever. And then you start taking your notes, and it's going to help you. Let's say 6 months from now, you need to create a minimal website with beautiful typography. If you're using a tool like Nojoy or Evernote, or even the tools you have for free on your computer, on your Mac, you can do a search and you're going to find some references. It's going to help you tremendously to get inspiration quicker. But in our process, so you're just going to open a website. So let's say that I open this one. Okay, so, and actually it's quite nice, and I did not see this website before. So what you're going to do, let's say that you like this website, so you're gonna look at the elements. So here, once again, this asymmetrical design I'm not a fan of, but it looks beautiful. Actually, it looks beautiful the way they implemented it. So let's say you want to grow your skills. One thing you could do is go step by step and say, okay, first of all, I'm going to try and recreate the left navigation here. How do I do that? Next, how do I create that column? And try to go for the simplest thing. So let's say you don't know how to create the off canvas and the hover features. Don't worry about that. First of all, let's just try to recreate the flat elements. Look for similar pictures. Learn how to center your text. What tools would you use? How would you do it? Which technique? And that's going to help you tremendously. It's much more practical than just going with theory. You know, this is the real world. So that's what I encourage you to do. So the next website is called Awards, and I talk about it extensively on this channel. Basically, each and every day there's a website of the day. So this is a really one of the established websites. So also something you can do is not just check the websites of the day, but you can go in the menu and look for the nominees. They also have collections. So you could type best navigation websites, best sports websites, and so on. Or you can just Google it, type which type of collection you want, and just add the awards with 3 W's keyword in Google, and you'll land on it. The next website is called Site Inspire. Now, the thing I don't really like here is that the thumbnails are a little bit smaller, and usually I like bigger thumbnails. But on the other hand, when a website looks good on a small thumbnail, usually it means that there's something to it. So I kind of like that. I like to compare. So if I go to the previous one, the thumbnails are bigger, and this one is in the middle. But then when it looks nice here, usually it looks really nice when I open it. So this one is Site Inspire. And the last one I'm going to talk about is the best designs. This one is a bit different. So it comes with a bigger screenshot here, and then it got smaller screenshot. So it's like the best of both worlds. And they have also this design of the day feature. So basically, if you do that once a week and you spend, I don't know, 15 minutes on each website, you're going to start learning. And if you're really hardcore, you can do that like 1 hour a day. When I was getting started, it was like 1 hour, 2, 3, 4 hours, just scanning through and just referencing all the best websites. So I had my portfolio of inspiration, and I strongly encourage you to do the rest. So look at this one. It looks really, really beautiful. So I hope that you got value out of this video, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up, as it really, really, really helps growing the channel. Now, if you want more tips to help you on your web design career, make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Oh, and by the way, if you want a killer brand identity, I created a brand identity guidelines template that you can download on my website for free. Initially, it was made for Affinity Designer, but you can use it with Adobe Illustrator with a workaround. So if you're interested, just go to ksenior.com/branding. So that's it for this video. I'll be happy to see you in the next one. And in the meantime, Don't forget to invest
in your success.